Dream Report is a reporting tool that allows you to visualize data from multiple sources. These videos are designed to help you get up and running with Dream Report in no time. So let's jump right in. So today we're going to use Dream Report to look at data that's in a SQL Server database. Now, there are several ways of doing this with Dream Report. The way I'm going to demonstrate is going to pull data from SQL Server and treat it like tags within Dream Report. In other words, we will not have to build SQL statements and things like that. So this is probably the easiest way to get data in from SQL Server into Dream Report. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, here's my SQL Server. I want to show you this. I've got a table. I've got two records in that table, like a production table of a product we're going to make and the quantity we're going to make, and I've got a timestamp around that. So I'm going to show how all that comes into Dream Report. The timestamp is going to be important because when we do this query, we're getting this data from SQL Server. Or the way I'm going to set it up is to specify that I want the data based off the first record within the table, and it's going to be using the date timestamp to make that determination. Over on Dream Report, what we're going to start off by doing is going into DSN Manager. And what DSN Manager does, it's an easy way for us to create the DSN configuration from within Dream Report and not have to go into Windows and create it. Makes it a little bit easier to find all this and get it set up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to give us a DSN definition name. So for my DSN definition name, I'm just going to use SQL 2019 underscore ed underscore name. Now, I do not have a DSN created yet, so I'm going to hit this plus to add a DSN. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to tell I want to use a system data source. I'm going to select the one I want to use, which is SQL in our case. Click Finish. And now I've got to give it a name. And in my case, I'm just going to name it SQL 2019 underscore DSN. The server, in my case, is SQL 2019. That is the name of my SQL server that I'm going to be connecting to. Click Next. I'm going to use the SQL Server authentication. You may choose to set yours up differently and use a Windows authentication, but I'm going to use SQL Server authentication. I want to change it to the default database that I know I'm trying to work against, which is this ES&E test. Click Next, and I'm going to click Finish, and then I'm going to test this. And I see I got a test connect completed successfully. So, okay, now at this point, I actually got to go and select that after I created. So that plus icon or the plus button, all it did was launch the DSN creator to create the DSN. Now I'm telling it my DSN definition name is going to use the one I just created. I'm going to give it a login, or yours may be different. I'm just going to test this again. So I'm seeing I got a completed test successfully, and I'm just going to add it. So now what I have is the SQL 2019 DSN definition name. It's an ODBC, and it uses the DSN SQL 2019 underscore DSN, and it's using a SA login. So at this point, I just click OK, and that part of it has been set up. Now we're ready to create the report. So I just right click, New Report. Now I'm just going to take the default here because we are going to have other videos that go through the details of how to configure a report, but for our purpose, we're just going to do an apply, take the default. Now I'm going to do two objects on this report. One of them I'm going to do is just a single data point. And we got to give it, this is going to be our first product that is in that database table. Go through here and I'm going to select the data source. And if you remember, we named it data MES, data logical name, and you see that I've got the values listed off like tags, and I'm just going to say product because that's the one I want. I'm going to need to go back 30 days. because the data in that SQL Server table is at least 30 days old. And I'm also going to want to grab the first value. So I chose external data server, the data source. I told it the field value, which is coming in like a tag. Told it I wanted the first value and to go 30 days back and look into that table to get that first value. What you have not seen me do is build any SQL queries, and that's why this is so simple and easy to set up. So I'm going to say OK. Now I'm going to add one hour data object, and it's going to be a item table. Again, same setup, external data. I'm going to edit my list. I'm going to choose that data MES underscore DL underscore name. This time though, I'm going to tell it that I want to add all the values into this list table or item table. Click OK. Again, I need to go 30 days back and I'm going to say OK. So now I just got to publish this report. So I'm going to say run a report project. Do you want to save this? Yes. Now it's uploading it or pushing it to the runtime engine. So now there's my report. I'm going to do a generate and I'm going to open the report. And you see my first one in that list, product, is soap. This is a full list of all the items that's got to be produced in that table. And the first one I want to produce is soap. So the purpose of the demonstration was to show how easy it is to connect Dream Report to a data source, a relational database. And more importantly, in this demonstration, it was done without having to use or create SQL queries to be able to do it. Let us know if this video was helpful by clicking the like button below. If you want to learn more about Dream Report, contact your local ES&E representative.